Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Punishka Tutorials. Today we will learn about number system. We have seen different types of numbers in our daily life. Let us study each of them in detail. Starting with the natural numbers. Natural numbers are denoted by the alphabet N and the smallest natural number is 1. So the natural numbers which are often known as counting numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Next is whole numbers. Whole numbers are represented by the alphabet W. The smallest whole number is 0. The whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. So we can say that the whole number is a collection of the digits 0 and the natural numbers. Also, all the whole numbers are not natural numbers, but all the natural numbers are whole numbers. Next is integers. Integers are represented by the alphabet Z. Integers are collection of all the negative natural numbers, the number 0 and all the positive natural numbers. So we can say integers are collection of all the negative natural numbers and the whole numbers. On a number line, all the positive natural numbers are placed towards the right side of 0 and all the negative natural numbers are placed towards the left side of 0. 0 is the only neutral number on the number line which is neither negative nor positive. Rational numbers. Rational numbers are represented by capital Q. Rational numbers are those numbers which can be expressed in the form of P by Q, where P and Q are integers and Q is not equal to 0. Example 12 upon 43, 57 upon 1. All the integers can be expressed as the rational number. Suppose we have any integer m, we can write the denominator as 1 and we can consider it as a rational number. Next is irrational numbers. All the numbers which cannot be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0. Such numbers are called irrational number. Example root 3, root 2, root 5, pi, all these are irrational numbers. Real numbers. Real numbers are collection of all the rational number as well as the irrational numbers. In our previous videos on rational numbers, we have seen many concepts like positive and negative rational numbers. If we have a rational number which is in the form of P upon Q and if the sign of both the numerator and denominator are different, in that case the rational numbers are said to be negative rational numbers. If the sign of both the numerator and denominator are same, in that case we say that the rational number is positive. Then we have seen standard form of rational numbers. That means if a rational number which is in the form of P upon Q and P and Q are co-prime numbers, common factors between P and Q is only 1. In that case the rational number P upon Q is in standard form. Equivalent rational numbers. We can multiply the standard form of a rational number with any integer and get equivalent rational numbers. We can get indefinite number of equivalent rational numbers for a given rational number. Then we have seen how to represent a rational number on a number line. We have also seen rational numbers as decimals. When we divide the numerator by the denominator, we get the decimal form of the rational number which can be either terminating, that means the division comes to an end, or the non-terminating form of decimal in which the division does not come to an end. The quotient gets a unique collection of numbers, or it may get numbers in which few pattern is repeated. In such case the decimal form is non-terminating. We have also seen conversion of decimal into rational numbers. If you have missed any of these concepts in the videos, please click on the link given in the description box. After learning about the representation of rational numbers on a number line, we will learn how to represent a decimal number and irrational numbers on the number line. The decimal number can be represented on the number line by the process of successive magnification, and all the irrational numbers can be represented on the number line by using Pythagoras theorem. Let us study each one of them. What is process of successive magnification? Okay, suppose you want to represent a decimal number on a number line. If we want to represent 2.665 on a number line, in that case, by looking at the number, we can say that the whole number part is 2 and the value of the number is greater than 2. This shows that this number lies between the rational number 2 and 3. Now we will divide the space between 2 and 3 into 10 divisions. After dividing the space into 10 divisions, we will get values like this: 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 and 3. Our number is 2.665. So 2.665, this shows that the number 2.66 lies between 2.6 and 2.7. So we will divide the space between 2.6 and 2.7 into 10 divisions. We will get divisions like this: 2.61, 2.62, 2.63, 2.64, 2.65, 2.66, 2.67, 2.68, 2.69 and 2.7. Our number lies between 2.66 and 2.67. Again we will divide the space between 2.66 and 2.67 into 10 divisions, and we will get the position of 2.665 between 2.664 and 2.666. Okay, so this is our required point. This point represents the decimal number 2.665. This method is known as successive magnification. Now let us learn how to locate an irrational number on a number line. We have to use Pythagoras theorem to locate an irrational number. Let's take one example. If we want to find root x, okay, and you have to represent it on a number line. This means that if you want to represent a number root x, which is a rational number, on a number line, then we have to follow certain steps. First of all, mark the distance x unit from point A on the line so that AB is equal to x unit. This is our number line. Okay, you have to mark a point A, and from A you have to mark x units and mark the point B. You have to mark AB as x unit on the number line. Then from B, mark a point C with the distance of 1 unit so that BC is equal to 1 unit. With taking B as center and distance as 1 unit, you have to mark point C. Then take the midpoint of AC and mark it as O. This is our AC. Okay, AB is x unit, BC is 1 unit. You have to take AC and mark the midpoint of AC and label it as O. Then take OC as radius and draw a semicircle. Okay, OC as radius, you have to draw a semicircle keeping O as the center. After that, at point B, you have to make a perpendicular which will intersect the semicircle at point D. So the distance BD, or the length of BD, is the required length of the rational number. BD will represent root x. Okay, now you have to mark this root x on the number line. For that, to mark the position of root x on the number line, we will take AC as the number line. Okay, we will consider AC as the number line, and with b as 0, so c is 0.1 on the number line. We will consider b as origin or 0.0, and the c is at a distance of 1 unit. So c will represent 1 on the number line. Now we will take B as center and BD as the radius. Draw an arc on the number line at point E. Okay, you have to take B as center and BD as radius. Cut an arc on which intersects the number line at point E. Then this position E will be the required position of root x. Suppose we want to locate root 5 on the number line. For that, first we will find the other two numbers which satisfy the Pythagoras theorem along with root 5. So in our case, root 2 square plus root 1 square is equal to root 5 square. So the Pythagoras triplets are root 2, root 1 and root 5. So we will on a number line, we will take point A as origin, okay, and the first triplet is root 2. Root 2 square is 2, so we will mark 2 units from A and label it as B. Second number is which satisfy the Pythagoras theorem is root 1. Root 1 square is 1. So at a point B, we will draw a perpendicular and mark unit distance on that from point B and join AC. Okay, after marking unit distance from B, label it as C and then join AC. AC is the required length of the rational number. That means AC will represent the distance root 5. Now with AC as the radius and with O as center, mark the point on the number line, and this position will represent root 5. The sum or difference of one rational number and one irrational number is always irrational number. Suppose 5 is the rational number and root 7 is the irrational number, then 5 plus root 7 and 5 minus root 7 are irrational number. This shows that sum or difference of one rational number and one irrational number is always irrational. If we multiply or divide a non-zero rational number with irrational number, then also the outcome will be irrational. Suppose 7 is a rational number and root 5 is irrational number, then 7 into root 5 or 7 divided by root 5 are irrational numbers. The sum, difference, product and quotient of two irrational numbers could be rational or irrational. Root 3 plus root 3 is 2 root 3. Root 2 minus root 2 is 0. 0 is a rational number. Root 6 into root 6 is equal to 6. 6 is a rational number. Root 13 divided by root 13 is equal to 1, which is a rational number. So the sum, difference, product and quotient of two irrational numbers can be rational or irrational. Identities related to square roots. Root over p into q is equal to root p into root q. Whole root p upon q is equal to root p upon root q. Root p plus root q into root p minus root q is equal to p minus q. P plus root q, p minus root q is equal to p square minus q. Root p plus root q into root r plus root s is equal to root over pr plus root over ps plus root over qr plus root over qs. Root p plus root q square is equal to p plus 2 root over p into q plus q. Let us take some examples. If we want to simplify 3 plus root 7 into 5 minus root 11 using the identities, root p plus root q into root r plus root s is equal to root pr plus root ps plus root qr plus root qs. Our sum becomes 15 plus 5 root 7 plus 3 root 11 plus root 77. Again root 5 plus root 11 into root 5 minus root 11. You have to simplify. We will use the identity root p plus root q, root p minus root q. You have to compare, which is equal to p minus q. So 5 minus 11, which is equal to minus 6. Suppose we want to find irrational numbers between 0.12 and 0.13. In that case, there can be infinite irrational numbers between 0.12 and 0.13. 0.12 can be rewritten as 12 upon 100. 0.13 can be written as 13 upon 100. Okay. 12 is nothing but root over 144 upon 10,000, and 13 upon 10 is root over 169 upon 10,000. So we can find infinite numbers between root over 144 upon 10,000 and 169 upon root over 10,000. Like 145 upon 10,000, root over 146 upon 10,000, root over 150 upon 10,000, and so on. Suppose we want to find irrational number between 1 upon 7 and 2 upon 7. 1 upon 7 can be written as 0.142857. Okay, you have to perform the long division method. And 2 upon 7 can be written as 0.285714. Irrational numbers between 1 upon 7 and 2 upon 7 should have non-terminating and non-repeating expansion. Example 0.1501. 500, 1500, and so on. Let us learn how to rationalize the denominator. Rationalize the denominator means to convert the denominator containing the square root term into a rational number by finding the equivalent fraction of the given fraction. Example 4 upon 3 plus root 6. In the denominator, root 6 is an irrational number. You have to get rid of this irrational number and you have to make this denominator rational. For that, if the denominator is in the form 3 plus root 6, you have to multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3 minus root 6. Whatever the sign is there, you have to change the sign from plus to minus. If minus sign is there, you have to change the sign from minus to plus. Here plus is there, we will change the sign to minus. 3 minus root 6. We will multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3 minus root 6. 4 into 3 minus root 6 upon 3 plus root 6 into 3 minus root 6, which is equal to 4 3s are 12 minus 4 root 6. In the denominator we have 9 minus root 36. We have used the identities of the real numbers in this to solve the expression, which is equal to 12 minus 4 root 6 upon 9 minus 6, which is equal to 12 minus 4 root 6 upon 3, which is equal to 4 minus 4 root 6 upon 3. In this case, there is no irrational number in the denominator and hence we have rationalized the denominator. Let us see few more examples. Show that 3.142678 is a rational number. In other words, we have to express this number in the form of a rational number p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0. 3.142678 can be written as, write the numerator part without the decimal point and count the number of digits after the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 digits are there after the decimal point. So in the denominator write 1 and then write 6 zeros. And if the number which is in the form of p upon q has some common factors, cancel all the common factors and bring it in the standard form. This is the required rational number. Show that 0.333, which can be written as 0.3 bar, can be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0. Since we do not know what 0.3 is like, let us call it as x. Okay, let x is equal to 0.333 or 0.3 bar. We do not know the fractional form of 0.333 or 0.3 bar, so we will take it as x. X is equal to 0.3333 and so on. As there is only one digit under the bar, so we will multiply it with 10. 10 into x is equal to 10 into 0.333 or 0.3 bar, which is equal to 3.3 bar. 3.3 bar is 3 plus x, which since x is equal to 0.33, 10x is equal to 3 plus x. After solving, we get 9x is equal to 3, x is equal to 1 upon 3. Let's take one more example. Suppose we want to express 1.27 bar in the form of P upon Q. Here two digits are there under the bar, so we will multiply the number by 100. 100x, let x is equal to 1.27 bar. 100x is equal to 127.27 bar. 100x is equal to 126 plus 1.2727 bar. This number is represented, we have taken this number as x. So 100x is equal to 126 plus x. 100x minus x is equal to 126. That means 99x is equal to 126. X is equal to 126 upon 99, which is equal to 14 upon 11. Show that 0.2353535, which is equal to 0.235 bar, can be expressed in the form of P upon Q. The bar is on top of 3 and 5. Two digits are there under the bar, so we will multiply it with 100. 100x is equal to 23.5353 or 23.53 bar. 100x is equal to 23.3 plus 0.23535, which is equal to 23.3 plus x. 99x is equal to 23.3. 99x is equal to 233 by 10. X is equal to 233 by 990. If you like our video, please click on the like button, share it, and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. And also, if you have any doubt in the video, please comment it in the comment section. Thank you.